Hello, Jessica Frost Ballas here with a video for Hero Arts. Today I'm sharing how to get the most out of your die cuts and creating 4 stationery inspired cards at once. So let's get started. First, I die cut lots of the foliage and flowers from the Tropical Florals fancy dies using Arctic, Paradise, Adriatic, and Azalea Hero Hues cardstock. Then I take a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of Nautical cardstock and place it on my work surface. I start with my largest die cuts and randomly arrange them across the cardstock. Then I start to fill in with the next largest shape all the way down to the smallest leaves. I could build these patterns on individual A2 panels, but I'd end up wasting a lot of the die cuts as I'd have to trim off the overhang. This way I die cut less to start and get 4 panels at once. I decide to cut off the stems of the Monstera leaves so that I have more room for my flowers. After I arrange all the foliage, I add in my bright pink die-cut flowers to fill in the gaps. Then it's time to start adhering everything. This time I go in the opposite direction, adhering my smallest elements first, and then moving up towards the largest elements. Once I get to the Monstera and palm leaves, I squish a puddle of liquid glue onto some scrap paper and lightly dip my leaves into the glue instead of trying to apply glue evenly over the thin areas of the die cuts. I tap the excess glue off of my scrap paper before bringing the die cut to my nautical panel. I continue gluing until the whole panel is done. For the tiny stems, I take a little scrap of cardstock and dip it in glue, and then carefully slide it under the stem and tap it to the back of the stem. This allows me to add just the right amount of glue so I don't get a lot of glue squishing out along the sides. I use this trick for all sorts of delicate die-cut pieces. Once the panel is dry, I trim off the excess and then cut the cardstock down into 4 4¼ by 5½ inch A2 panels. At this point, if there are any extra little gaps along the edges, you can add a flower or leaf like I do here and then trim off the excess. Next, I die cut the Hello There Stampin' Cut from the Fall Glitter Paper Pack and layer it 3 times with leftover Adriatic cardstock to create a thick chipboard-like sentiment. Then I adhere each sentiment to the card. Finally, I use a hole punch to punch out little gold glitter dots from my leftover scraps, and I adhere those to the panels to fill in the gaps and add a little extra sparkle. I love how each panel is a little different, but they're definitely a matching set and could be gifted as such. You can also cut the 8.5 by 11 inch panel into 3 slimline cards or 2 A7 cards for even more variety. And that's it! I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe to the Hero Arts channel for even more crafty inspiration. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, have an amazing day and happy crafting. Bye!